Some secrets refuse to stay buried, even with the dead. October 15th, Greenwich Cemetery. Susan kneels at Daniel's grave, Emma in her arms, white lily on stone, heels behind her. Susan stands. White woman, 60. Diamonds, ice eyes. "Ma'am, I'm sorry if—" "What is a black woman doing at my son's grave?" Words cut. "I knew Daniel, knew him." Victoria Whitmore, billionaire, steps closer. "A waitress? You think money once means you belong? Please, look at you. Cheap coat. You people see wealth, attach like parasites. That baby? You claim she's mine?" Groundskeeper looks away. Visitor records. Emma turns. Blue eyes, Daniel's eyes. Birthmark, left temple. Daniel's spot. Victoria's breath stops. Hand reaches. Drops. Frozen. The black waitress she called Parasite holds Daniel's face. What Victoria doesn't know, this woman is Daniel's widow. Every word recorded. In 48 hours, 200,000 people will see this video. Victoria Whitmore destroyed herself at her son's grave with one look at the child. Victoria Whitmore built an empire over 40 years. She eliminates uncertainty. Whitmore Industries owns commercial properties across Connecticut, New York, and Massachusetts. $1.2 billion in assets. 14-person board. When Victoria speaks, they listen. The Ice Queen of Greenwich. Control the narrative, control the outcome. Except Daniel. Daniel James Whitmore III. 28 when he died. June 6, 2023. 18 months ago. Minor car accident. Lost control on wet road. Hit a tree. Died 6 hours later at Greenwich Hospital. Victoria was there. Made the final decisions. Small funeral. Private. 30 people. Business associates. No girlfriend mentioned. Daniel focused on the company, she told everyone. His legacy would continue through Whitmore Industries. The board pressures her now. Name a successor. Victoria deflects. Not ready. She visits his grave monthly, brings white lilies. These moments, her only permitted grief. At the grave, alone, she remembers Daniel at 5, laughing. At 15, arguing. At 28, finally understanding. Understanding came too late. Victoria never sorted Daniel's apartment. His things remain untouched. Clothes, books, coffee cup in the sink. She protected Daniel his entire life. Right schools, right friends, right future. When he was 19, he dated someone Victoria disapproved of. The girl moved to California. When Daniel wanted art instead of business, Victoria convinced him otherwise. Art was hobby. Business was legacy. Victoria always knew best. At least she thought so. Driving away, she calls Martin Sterling, her attorney, 25 years. "Martin, something needs handling, discreetly." "Of course, Victoria." A woman at Daniel's grave, young, black, with a baby. Silence. Then, "I see. I need everything about her. 48 hours. Consider it done." Next call. Lawrence Brennan, private investigator. "Lawrence, Victoria Whitmore, Greenwich Cemetery, this afternoon between 1:30 and 2:30. Young black woman, approximately 25, with infant, name, address, employment, financials, everything." "Understood. 48 hours. Victoria hangs up. Greenwich passes. Manicured lawns, colonial homes, old money. 40 years building, protecting the Whitmore name. A woman at her son's grave. A baby with Daniel's eyes. She'll know soon. Then she'll handle it. She always does. 48 hours later, 15-page report. Confidential. Victoria's home office. Mahogany desk. Long Island Sound view. She opens the folder. Subject, Susan Marie Wilson, age 25, black. Waitress, Harborview Diner. Studio apartment, Stamford. 800 monthly. Annual income, 32,000. High school graduate. No criminal record. Credit score, 620. Relationship to Daniel Whitmore III. Employed Harbor View Diner, 2021 to present. Daniel frequent customer, March 2021 to May 2023. Witnesses confirm 2 to 3 visits weekly, requesting Wilson's section. Relationship appeared romantic. Last sighting May 20th, 2023. Victoria's jaw tightens. Child information, Emma Grace Wilson, born June 20th, 2023. Father, unknown. No paternity test. Sole custody, Susan Wilson. No support payments. June 20th, 14 days after Daniel died. Conception, September 2022. Daniel still at home. Never mentioned Susan. Photographs, Susan at work, pouring coffee. Pretty. Young. Unremarkable. Susan at park, pushing stroller. Susan with groceries, baby on hip. Close-ups of the child. Victoria's breath stops. Not just the eyes. Everything. Face shape, mouth curve. That birthmark. Daniel had it. Victoria's mother had it. 4 generations of Whitmores. This child is Daniel's daughter. No doubt. Victoria closes the folder, sits back. Daniel had a child. With a waitress. Never told her. Grief first. A granddaughter. Daniel's daughter. Victoria will never know her. Daniel's gone, but part of him lives. Then anger. Daniel kept this deliberately. Why? Because Victoria wouldn't approve? Because she would what? Carmen Rodriguez, 2003, 21 years ago. Daniel's girlfriend. Latina. Hotel maid. Got pregnant. Victoria paid $50,000 to disappear. Carmen took it. Had abortion. Moved to California. Daniel was 16. Too young. Victoria did what was necessary. Daniel never forgave her. Is that why he hid Susan? Hid the baby? Victoria walks to window. The sound stretches gray. A granddaughter. Being raised with no resources. No Whitmore legacy. Daniel's daughter deserves better. Whitmore name. Fortune. Future. But Susan will want something. Money. Recognition. Claim on Daniel's estate. Maybe the company. $12 million. Plus 30% Whitmore Industries stake. If Emma's legal heir, if paternity's established, Susan controls that inheritance. The board would insist on protecting the Whitmore heir. Push Susan into decisions. Force Victoria to share power. Unacceptable. Victoria calls Martin. I read the report. The child is Daniel's. File for emergency guardianship. Immediately. Victoria, we need strategy. Strategy's simple. Susan Wilson's 25, poor, unstable, minimum wage, studio apartment, unfit for a Whitmore. My granddaughter deserves better. Paint Susan as gold digger who surfaced after my son died. Optics. Wealthy white woman versus black single mother. I'm protecting my granddaughter. That's the story. Martin sighs. I'll draft papers. But if this goes to court, it won't. Susan Wilson has no resources. She'll fold. They always do. Victoria hangs up, opens folder, looks at Emma's photo. Daniel's eyes stare back. She whispers, I'm sorry, Daniel, but I'm protecting her, like I always protected you. Susan Wilson doesn't know Victoria exists until the letter arrives. October 18th, morning shift. Susan pours coffee, takes orders, wipes tables. Emma's at daycare 3 blocks away, $180 a week. Susan calculates constantly, rent, utilities, food, diapers. Maria leans over. Susan, you okay? Emma's teething. Rough night. You need help, call me. Maria's covered shifts when Emma was sick, brought groceries, one of few who knew about Daniel. He was crazy about you, Maria said once. Daniel, gone 18 months. Susan can't believe it. One day planning their future. Next, phone call, accident, nothing. She wasn't invited to the funeral, didn't know about it until after. Called the house once. Cold voice. The family is not receiving visitors. Susan didn't fight. She had Emma. That was enough. 2 p.m. Shift ends. Susan picks up Emma, Mrs. Anderson hands her over. Perfect today. They walk home. Studio apartment, Stamford. Small but clean. Susan checks mailbox. Bills, flyers, thick envelope, heavy paper. Wellington and Sterling Law, Greenwich, Connecticut. Susan's stomach drops. Upstairs, Emma plays with blocks. Susan reads, Petition for emergency guardianship in the matter of Emma Grace Wilson, minor child. Petitioner, Victoria Whitmore. Words blur. Susan reads 3 times. Victoria Whitmore, maternal grandmother, petitions for emergency temporary guardianship based on 1. Fitness concerns. Guardian. Susan Wilson demonstrates financial instability, substandard housing, insufficient resources. 2. Best interest. Minor child is Whitmore estate heir, requires stable environment befitting status. 3. Immediate risk. Current conditions pose developmental and safety risks. 12 pages. Legal terms Susan Googles. Unfit mother. Unsuitable environment. Questionable moral character. They're calling her bad mother. Trying to take Emma. Emma's building block towers. Concentration, falls, laughs, starts again. Susan's raised Emma alone 15 months. Fed, bathed, stayed up nights, sang, taught walking. Emma's first word, Mama. Now some stranger wants her. Susan calls the letterhead number. Wellington and Sterling Law. I received a letter about my daughter. I need 1 moment. Hold music, heart pounding. Martin Sterling, how may I help? My name is Susan Wilson. You sent a petition. About Emma. Ah, Ms. Wilson, Mrs. Whitmore's case. You received the documents? You're trying to take my child. Mrs. Whitmore seeks what's best for her granddaughter. Emma's my daughter. I'm her mother. No one disputes that. However, concerns about Emma's living situation. Mrs. Whitmore can provide resources, education, opportunities. I provide for my daughter. On waitress salary, studio apartment. Be realistic. Mrs. Whitmore offers private schools, health care, trust fund. Can you? Susan's voice breaks. I love my daughter. Love doesn't pay for college. Mrs. Whitmore is offering Emma the life she deserves. Consider Emma's best interest. When's the hearing? November 1st. You're welcome to retain counsel, though legal battles are expensive. Mrs. Whitmore has significant resources. Consider settling amicably. Settling? Generous visitation. Financial support. In exchange for shared custody. Think about Emma. He hangs up. Emma crawls over, head on Susan's lap. Mama sad? Susan strokes her hair. Mama's okay? But she's not. November 1st is 13 days away. No lawyer, no money. Susan Googles free legal aid. Waiting list, leaves message. Next day, Child Protective Services. Patricia Brennan, clipboard, forms. Home evaluation. May I come in? Susan has no choice. Brennan walks through, takes notes, opens refrigerator, checks bathroom. Emma's crib, second-hand but sturdy. Clothes, clean but worn. How long here? 2 years. Full-time work? Waitress. Harbor View. Who watches Emma? Daycare, 3 blocks away. Cost? $180 weekly. Brennan writes, significant portion of income. I manage. Your relationship with Daniel Whitmore? Throat tightens. Together 2 years. He loved Emma. He died before she was born. Financial support? He helped. Cash. He was planning. Susan stops. Can't mention the marriage. No proof yet. 30 minutes. Photos. Emma cries. Susan comforts. Brennan leaves. You'll receive my report before hearing. Door closes. Susan leans against it. Mama, hungry. Pasta, butter. Emma's favorite. Floor picnic. Sauce on face. After Emma sleeps, Susan rereads petition. Studies every word. Bottom print. 72 hours to file answer. Susan has no idea how. She scrolls phone, number she's avoided. James Holland, Daniel's friend, detective. Daniel said, if anything happens, Sue, find Holland. Susan presses call. 4 rings. Holland. Mr. Holland? Susan Wilson. Daniel gave me your number. I need help. Holland sits in Susan's apartment. 52, retired Greenwich detective. Coffee untouched. Daniel talked about you. A lot. Susan's eyes fill. He never told his mother. No. Victoria Whitmore. Difficult woman. Daniel knew what she'd do. Holland pulls out USB drive. 3 days before he died, Daniel called. Said he needed to talk. Off record. Met at a Norwalk diner. He was scared. I'd never seen him scared. He hands her the drive. He recorded a video. Asked me to keep it safe. If anything happened, give it to you. I've been waiting. What's on it? Watch. Then we'll talk. Susan opens laptop. Emma sleeps. Holland looks away. Privacy. Video loads. Daniel's face. Car. Night. Parking lot lights. Red eyes. Susan, if you're watching this, I'm gone. I'm so sorry. Susan's breath catches. I need you to know truth. About us. Emma. My mother. He holds papers. We got married, May 15th, New York City Hall, certificate here, legal, real. You're my wife. Emma's my daughter. I love you both. He's crying. My mother will try to take Emma. She did it before, 20 years ago. Carmen, my girlfriend, got pregnant. Mom paid her to disappear. Abortion. I was 16. Couldn't stop her. Daniel wipes eyes. I won't let it happen again. I'm putting things in place. Will. Documents. Holland has copies. If something happens, and Sue, I think it might, fight. You're Emma's mother. Better mother than mine ever was. He leans closer. I love you. I love Emma. Sorry I didn't stand up sooner. But I'm standing now. Video ends. Susan stares. Tears stream. He married me. Holland turns. May 15th, 2023. I witnessed. Daniel wanted it documented, legal, binding. The certificate, he kept it. I have copy. Originals in safe deposit box, Bank of Greenwich. He gave me key. Why didn't you find me before? Tried. Number disconnected. Harborview said you took time off. No address. Until Victoria's petition. Your name in court documents. Holland sits. There's more. Text messages. Daniel and Victoria. Pulled from his phone. He shows screenshots. Victoria to Daniel. April 2023. Disturbing rumors about your personal life. Discuss immediately. Daniel. My life is my own. Victoria. Nothing's your own with the Whitmore name. Stop this. Daniel. I'm 28. Don't need permission. Victoria. Don't test me. I've cleaned your messes before. Dozens of messages. Pattern clear. Victoria knew. Disapproved. Threatened. Daniel refused. Last message, June 2nd, 4 days before death. Daniel. Done hiding. Living my life with Susan, our daughter, whether you accept it or not. Victoria. You'll regret this. Susan looks at Holland. She knew before Daniel died. Yes. 4 days later. Holland's jaw tightens. Accident report says lost control. But Susan, Daniel was careful. Barely rained that day. What are you saying? I don't believe in coincidences. Can't prove anything. Yet. Susan closes laptop. What do I do? First, lawyer, Rebecca Hayes, Justice Equality Foundation, takes cases pro bono. The video? Certificate? We use them. Victoria thinks you're powerless. You're not. You're Daniel's legal widow, mother of his legitimate heir. Changes everything. Susan looks at sleeping Emma. Holland, I'm scared. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. Don't let it stop you. Daniel gave you weapons. Now use them. Rebecca Hayes meets Susan 3 days later. Small Bridgeport office, stacks of files everywhere. Coffee cups on every surface. Rebecca's 41, black, tired eyes but fierce energy that fills the room. Holland told me about your case, Rebecca says. I'm in. I can't pay you. Don't worry about that. This is exactly the kind of case we handle at Justice Equality Foundation. Wealthy family using the system to crush someone without resources. We're going to push back hard. Rebecca reviews everything. Daniel's video, marriage certificate copy, text messages. She takes detailed notes, asks specific questions about timeline, about Daniel's relationship with his mother, about Susan's day-to-day life with Emma. The video's good, really good. Marriage certificate is excellent. These text messages show a clear pattern of control. But Susan, we need more. We need to show Victoria Whitmore has done this before. We need to expose her tactics systematically. And we need public pressure. How? Media. There's a journalist I know, Sarah Mitchell, works for Connecticut Independent. She does investigative pieces on abuse of power. If she takes your story, things change fast. The court pays attention when the public is watching. I don't want attention. I just want Emma. I understand. But right now, Victoria's narrative is concerned grandmother protecting her grandchild. We need to flip that completely. Show the truth. Wealthy woman using money and lawyers to steal a child from her fit mother. The truth is powerful, Susan. We just need to tell it loudly. Susan hesitates, then nods. Okay. For Emma. I'll do it. Rebecca makes a call. Sarah? Rebecca Hayes. I have a story for you. A big one. Really big. 2 days later, Sarah Mitchell arrives at Susan's apartment. Mid-30s, sharp, intelligent eyes, recording device, notebook, questions prepared. Susan, I'm not here to hurt you, Sarah says carefully. I'm here to find the truth and tell it. Tell me everything. Start from the beginning. Susan tells her story. Meeting Daniel 3 years ago at Harbor View Diner. He was different from other customers. Didn't treat her like she was invisible. Actually listened when she talked. They started dating quietly. Daniel said his mother was controlling, said she wouldn't approve of their relationship. But he loved Susan. He was sure of that. The pregnancy. Daniel's excitement. His plans. The secret marriage at City Hall. Daniel saying they'd tell Victoria together when the time was right. His growing anxiety in those final weeks. The accident. The sudden death. The silence from his family. Susan raising Emma alone. No demands, no contact, just surviving. Then the petition, the shock, the fear. Sarah asks careful questions. Did you know Victoria Whitmore before this? I'd never heard her name until the petition arrived. Daniel called her mom or mother. I didn't know her first name. Didn't know about Whitmore Industries. I'm not from that world. Daniel never mentioned his mother trying to interfere with your relationship. He said his mother was controlling, that she'd disapprove of me because I wasn't from their background, but he said we'd handle it together, that he'd protect us. Then he died, and I thought that was it. I never imagined she'd come after Emma. Sarah makes extensive notes. I'm going to dig into Victoria Whitmore's history, see if there's a pattern here. Holland mentioned something about a previous girlfriend. Carmen Rodriguez, 20 years ago. Victoria paid her $50,000 to disappear. Carmen had an abortion. Sarah's eyes light up. This is the pattern she needs. That's a strong lead. Do you have any information about her? Where she is now? No. Just what Daniel said in the video. He was devastated about it. Said his mother destroyed his chance at being a father back then. He was only 16. I'll find her. If she's willing to talk, this changes everything. Sarah spends the next 2 weeks investigating intensively. She calls Susan with regular updates. Each one builds the case stronger. Update 1, October 28th. I found Carmen Rodriguez. She's living in San Diego now, married, 2 kids of her own. I explained your situation. She's willing to talk, actually wants to talk. Susan's heart pounds. What did she say? In 2003, Carmen was 19 years old. She worked as a housekeeper at a hotel in Greenwich. Met Daniel Whitmore at a charity event the hotel was hosting. He was 16. They dated for 6 months. She got pregnant. Daniel wanted to keep the baby. Carmen wanted to keep the baby. Then Victoria Whitmore showed up at Carmen's apartment one day, alone, brought a lawyer, offered $50,000 to make the problem go away. Carmen was 19, scared, working minimum wage. Victoria told her she'd destroy her life if she didn't take the money, said she'd make sure Carmen never worked again. That immigration would investigate her family. Carmen was terrified. She took the money, had an abortion, moved to California, never spoke to Daniel again. Oh my God. Carmen's willing to go on record. She's tired of carrying the secret. She says Victoria told her, and I quote, "Girls like you don't belong in our world. Take the money and disappear. If you ever contact my son again, I'll make sure you regret it." Those are Carmen's exact words. She remembers them perfectly. She's carried them for 21 years. Susan closes her eyes. Daniel was only 16 then. Barely 16. Victoria's been doing this for decades, controlling Daniel's life, eliminating anyone who didn't fit her perfect plan for him. Update 2, November 1st. I dug into Whitmore Industries' financials. They're a private company, but some records are public. Daniel's estate was worth approximately $12 million, plus a 30% ownership stake in the company. That stake is worth probably another $100 million based on company valuation. When Daniel died, Victoria transferred his shares to herself immediately. Filed paperwork June 20th, 2 weeks after his death. She claimed there was no will, no designated heir, and as sole surviving parent and board chair, she had authority to reclaim the shares for corporate stability. But there was a will. Holland said Daniel wrote one. Exactly. If there's a will naming Emma as Daniel's heir, Victoria committed fraud. Major fraud. I'm getting copies of the transfer documents through public corporate filings. This is big, Susan. Really big. Update 3, November 4th. Sarah's voice is urgent when she calls. Susan, I need you to see something. Can you meet me, like right now? They meet at a coffee shop in Stamford. Sarah opens her laptop. Shows Susan hospital records with certain sections highlighted. I have a source at Greenwich Hospital. These are Daniel's medical records from June 6th, the day he died. Look at the timeline. Susan reads. Medical jargon, injury details, treatment notes. Then she sees it. 3:42 a.m. Family member Victoria Whitmore enters patient room. Requests. Private consultation with Dr. Richard Patterson, attending physician. Consultation lasts 11 minutes. 3:53 a.m. Dr. Patterson updates treatment plan. DNR order implemented per family request. 4:16 a.m. Patient Daniel Whitmore III expired. Time of death called by Dr. Patterson. DNR order was in effect. No resuscitation attempted. Susan looks up, voice shaking. What's DNR? Do not resuscitate. It means if the patient's heart stops or breathing stops, doctors don't try to save them. They let the patient die naturally. Victoria asked for that? According to this, yes. But here's the crucial thing. I found Daniel's own medical directive. He filed it with his lawyer 3 months before he died. April 2023. It explicitly says, full resuscitation under all circumstances. He specifically rejected DNR status, wrote it in his own handwriting, had it notarized. The implication settles over Susan like ice water. Sarah continues carefully. I can't prove Victoria did anything illegal. Daniel's injuries from the car accident were severe. Head trauma, internal bleeding. Maybe he would have died anyway, even with aggressive treatment. But the timeline is suspicious. She had 11 minutes alone with his doctor. Then, suddenly, there's a DNR order that directly contradicts Daniel's own written wishes, and Daniel died 34 minutes later. Can we use this? It's evidence of a pattern. Victoria making decisions that benefit her, not Daniel, not his wishes, not his family. She overrode his explicit medical directive. Why? What was she afraid of? What did she think Daniel might say if he survived? Update 4, November 6th. I found the connection between Victoria and Judge Henry Carson. He's the judge assigned to your custody case. Victoria's been donating to his political campaigns for years. Whitmore Foundation, that's Victoria's charitable foundation, gave Carson's re-election campaign $150,000 over the past 2 years. 2 separate donations. $75,000 each, plus another $75,000 donation to his wife's nonprofit organization, Family Justice Initiative. It's supposedly about child welfare. Victoria sits on their advisory board. That's corruption. That has to be illegal. It's legal, barely. Campaign donations are public record. Anyone can donate to judges who run for election, but it's a massive conflict of interest. Carson should absolutely recuse himself from your case. He's received over $200,000 from the woman who's trying to take your child. Rebecca's filing a motion to disqualify him right now. Sarah also discovers that Wellington and Sterling Law has represented Whitmore Industries for 30 years. They've earned millions in legal fees from Victoria's company. Martin Sterling personally sits on the board of Whitmore Foundation, gets paid $50,000 a year as a board member. Thomas Wellington's wife works for Whitmore Industries as their corporate communications director. The web of influence is crystal clear. Victoria doesn't just have lawyers, she has an entire system working for her. November 8th, Sarah's article publishes in Connecticut Independent. Headline, The Whitmore Way, How Money Silences Truth. It's a comprehensive investigation, 5,000 words, meticulously researched. Photos of Susan and Emma at the park, happy, healthy, loving. Interview with Carmen Rodriguez describing Victoria's payment and threats in 2003. Complete timeline of Daniel's death with questions about the DNR order. Financial connections to Judge Carson detailed with public records. The marriage certificate image. Excerpts from Daniel's video where he says, "My mother will try to erase you." The article goes viral immediately. 10,000 shares in the first hour, 20,000 by noon, 50,000 by end of day. Comments flood in. This is disgusting. Victoria Whitmore should be in jail, not in court trying to steal a baby. Rich people think they can buy anything, even children. This has to stop. Justice for Susan and Emma, the system is broken. Local news picks it up. Then regional news. By evening, CNN mentions it in their news roundup. By night, it's trending on social media. Hashtag justice for Susan. Emma deserves better. Hashtag Whitmore exposed. Rebecca calls Susan, voice excited. This changes everything. The court will have to take notice now. Victoria can't hide behind her lawyers anymore. The public is watching. Judges don't like making decisions that look corrupt when the whole world is watching. But Susan doesn't feel victorious. She feels exposed, vulnerable. Her face is online. Her story is public. Strangers are debating her life, analyzing her choices. Some comments are supportive. Others are cruel. She's just after money. Gold digger with a baby. Why didn't she come forward when Daniel was alive? She holds Emma close that night. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry you're in the middle of this mess. Emma pats her face with small hands. Mama okay? Mama's okay. The next morning, Susan's phone rings. Unknown number. She hesitates, but answers. Ms. Wilson? This is Eleanor Walsh from Fairfield County Family Services. I'm calling to inform you that Judge Carson has scheduled an emergency hearing for November 10th. That's 2 days from now. Why emergency? Due to significant media attention and public interest, the court wants to resolve this case expeditiously. The preliminary hearing originally scheduled has been converted to a full custody hearing. You and your counsel should be prepared to present your entire case. The hearing that was supposed to be just preliminary, just temporary custody, is now final. Full custody determination. 2 days away. Susan calls Rebecca immediately. They moved everything up. I know, I just got the notice too. They're panicking, Susan. Sarah's article exposed them. They want this case resolved and closed before more damage is done to their reputations. Are we ready? We're as ready as we can be. Holland's bringing the marriage certificate original from the bank. We have Daniel's video. We have the text messages. We have Carmen's testimony via video deposition. We have Sarah's investigation showing the pattern. And we have you. A mother who's done absolutely nothing wrong except love her daughter and be poor. That's not a crime, no matter what Victoria Whitmore thinks. What if I lose? Rebecca's voice softens. Then we appeal. And we keep fighting until we win. But Susan, I don't think you're going to lose. Not anymore. Victoria Whitmore picked the wrong person to bully. You're not Carmen Rodriguez. You're not 19 and alone and scared. You have Daniel's voice backing you up. You have evidence. You have the truth. And now you have the public. Victoria's used to winning because she fights in the dark. But Sarah just turned on all the lights. That night, Susan can't sleep. She watches Emma sleeping peacefully, memorizes every detail of her face, the way she sleeps with one arm above her head, the little snore, the peaceful expression. Her baby. If the judge rules against her tomorrow, this could be the last night they spend together for a long time. Susan whispers into the darkness, Daniel, if you can hear me wherever you are, I'm trying. I'm fighting for Emma just like you asked me to. I hope it's enough. God, I hope it's enough. The wind outside makes the window rattle softly. Susan imagines it's Daniel answering, telling her to be strong, that she's doing the right thing, that Emma will be okay. She has to believe that. Because if she doesn't believe it, she'll fall apart. And Emma needs her strong. What scares you? Is it the way powerful people manipulate systems? Drop a comment below. And stay. This story isn't over. Victoria reads Sarah's article at 6 a.m. Hands shake with rage. 7 a.m. Phone call to Sterling. Did you see it? I saw it. Drafting response. Response? They're calling me criminal. Accusing me of murder. Article doesn't say that explicitly, but implications are damaging. We'll issue statement. Defamation suit if necessary. I want that journalist destroyed. Susan Wilson destroyed. Victoria, listen. Optics are bad. Very bad. Wealthy white woman versus young black single mother? Public sides with her. Be strategic. Strategic? My reputation's being dragged through mud. Then rebuild it. Carefully. Emphasize concern for Emma. Desire to provide. Paint Susan as someone who surfaced after Daniel died, looking for money. She claims they were married. Contest it. Question certificate authenticity. Suggest forgery. Holland witnessed it. Retired detective. Discredit Holland. Imply he's paid by Susan's lawyers. Victoria, we have resources. Use them. Victoria hangs up. Calls Thomas Wellington. Thomas, I need your firm to go harder. Bury them in motions, discovery requests, depositions. Make this so expensive Susan gives up. Victoria, hearings in 2 days. After the hearing. If we don't win, make her life hell. Tie this up for years. She can't afford it. Eventually, she'll settle. I have to advise against... I'm not asking advice. Giving instructions. Your firm's earned millions from Whitmore Industries. I expect results. Silence. Understood. Next call. Lawrence Brennan. Follow Susan Wilson. Document everything. Where she goes. Who she sees. Late picking up child. Has a drink. Looks at phone crossing street. I want ammunition. Mrs. Whitmore, this could be harassment. It's monitoring, ensuring Emma's safety. Do it. Within hours, Susan notices. Gray sedan follows to work. Parks across from diner. Same car near apartment, near daycare. Susan tells Rebecca. Intimidation. Document it. Take photos. Actually helps us. But doesn't feel like help. Feels like being hunted. Susan's landlord calls. Need to talk about your lease. What about it? Complaint, noise, unauthorized occupants. Unauthorized? Emma's my daughter, living here since birth. Lease specifies 1 occupant. Studio apartment, where else would she live? I'm sorry. Need you to address this or consider lease termination. Susan hangs up. Knows what's happening. Bank calls. Hold on your account. Dispute regarding estate funds. What estate funds? I've never received anything. Flag says potential fraud investigation. Freeze pending resolution. That's my rent money. Grocery money. Sorry. We comply with legal requests. $600 frozen. Everything until next paycheck. Maria lends money. This is wrong, Susan. They're destroying you. They're succeeding. Daycare calls. Anonymous complaint about Emma. Alleging late drop-offs. Unauthorized pickup persons. Appears malnourished. All lies. Required to investigate. Documenting everything. Any lateness, any issue, we report to Child Services. Never been late. Emma's healthy, happy. But now under microscope. Evening email. No return address. Drop this case. Take settlement. Or things get worse. You can't win against Victoria Whitmore. No one can. Susan shows Rebecca. Witness intimidation. Filing with court. Victoria's people digging their own grave. But Susan feels crushed. Holland visits. Coming after me too. Greenwich PD Pension Board reviewing my conduct. Implying corruption. Bribes. Bullshit. But it's distraction. Sorry, Holland, didn't mean to drag you. Don't apologize. Daniel was my friend. This gestures at harassment. Proves Victoria's scared. She only attacks when losing. And Sarah publishes follow-up. Whitmore Industries, a pattern of intimidation. Documents PI following Susan. Frozen bank. Landlord pressure. Daycare complaints. Emails to Harborview suggesting they're harboring someone under investigation. Public outrage intensifies. Victoria's PR responds, Mrs. Whitmore simply exercises legal right ensuring granddaughter's safety. Accusations are defamatory. Ms. Wilson's team manufactures media circus distracting from legitimate fitness concerns. Clinical, professional. Makes Susan sound like villain. November 9th, night before hearing. Susan sits on floor. Emma asleep. Rebecca called with strategy. Holland confirmed testimony. Sarah promised courtroom presence. But Susan's exhausted, terrified. Phone rings, unknown number. Almost doesn't answer. Hello? Susan Wilson? Woman's voice. Older. Shaking. Yes? Carmen Rodriguez. Read what's happening. What Victoria's doing. Wanted to call. Tell you, you're not alone. She did this to me. But you're stronger than I was. Don't let her win. Throat tightens. Thank you. Should have fought 20 years ago. Didn't. Too scared. But fighting now. Testifying tomorrow. Video, going to tell truth. What she did. What she is. Carmen, thank you. Win, Susan. For your daughter. For my daughter that never was. Win. Line goes dead. Susan looks at Emma. Peaceful face. Tomorrow everything changes. November 10th. Fairfield County Family Court. 2 p.m. Courtroom packed. Media. Supporters. Onlookers. Security guards. Judge Henry Carson enters. Everyone stands. 61. Gray hair. Stern face. Sits. Looks at crowd with displeasure. This is family court, not circus. Media, no recording. Spectators, 1 disruption. You're removed. Murmurs. Susan sits with Rebecca. Across aisle, Victoria flanked by Sterling and Wellington. Navy suit, pearls, composed. Doesn't look at Susan. Emma's with Maria outside. Susan's arms feel empty. Carson reviews documents. Read the petition, the response. 50 news articles. Let's proceed. Sterling stands, presents Victoria's case. Emma's inheritance right. Susan's limited resources. Stability importance. Smooth. Professional. Sounds reasonable. Rebecca stands, presents Susan's case. Marriage certificate. Daniel's video. Text messages showing Victoria's control. Carmen's video testimony plays, describing Victoria's payment, coercion, abortion. Carson watches impassively. Holland testifies. Confirms witnessed marriage. Daniel feared his mother. Patricia Brennan testifies. Home is small but clean. Child appears healthy. However, financial instability is concern. Limited support systems. Future needs may exceed capacity. Rebecca cross-examines. Did you observe abuse? Neglect? Anything indicating Emma's in danger? No, but yes or no? No. Victoria takes stand. Rebecca questions. Mrs. Whitmore, did you know your son was in relationship with Susan Wilson? I suspected Daniel was involved with someone unsuitable. Unsuitable? Someone who didn't share our values? Background. You mean someone not wealthy? Not white? Sterling objects. Inflammatory. Carson. Sustained. Stick to facts. Rebecca changes. You paid Carmen Rodriguez $50,000 in 2003. Why? Private family matter. You paid her to abort and disappear, correct? I provided options. Did Daniel want that baby? Victoria hesitates. Daniel was 16. Didn't know what he wanted. Did you ask him? I did what was best. Now you're doing what you think is best for Emma, by taking her from her mother. Emma deserves the Whitmore legacy. Even if Daniel married Susan, wanted Susan to raise Emma? That video's convenient, recorded days before death. Could be coerced, fabricated. Marriage certificate fabricated too? I've seen no original. Holland stands. I have it, Your Honor. Approaches bench. Hands sealed envelope from Bank of Greenwich. Carson examines. Verifies seal. Opens. Studies. This appears authentic. Rebecca presses. This proves Susan was Daniel's legal wife, Emma's legitimate daughter. Mrs. Whitmore has no standing to challenge custody. Sterling stands. Marriage may be legal but doesn't prove fitness. Emma's inheritance is substantial. Requires protection, management, guidance. Ms. Wilson cannot provide. Carson looks tired. Reviews papers 5 minutes. Courtroom silent. Finally, ruling on temporary custody. Full hearing for permanent arrangements within 30 days. Susan's stomach drops. Given circumstances, substantial estate, media attention, conflicting testimonies, Emma's immediate interests best served by temporary placement with Mrs. Whitmore. Ms. Wilson gets supervised visitation twice weekly. 30 days, we reconvene. Rebecca stands. Your Honor, my ruling stands, adjourned. Gavel falls. Susan can't breathe. Process. Temporary custody. Victoria won. Rebecca grabs her arm. Not over, we're appealing. But Susan doesn't hear. Room spins. People talking. Moving. Victoria stands. Walks toward exit. Stops near Susan. Eyes meet. Victoria says quietly, You can't win this. Never could. Gone. Outside, Susan hands Emma over. Court officer supervises. Emma's in Maria's arms, confused. Mama? Susan takes her, holds tight, breathes baby shampoo, kisses forehead. Mama has to go away a little bit, baby, but I'll come back. Promise. Promise. Emma starts crying. No! Mama, Mama! Victoria's driver pulls up. Black sedan. Officer gently takes Emma. Emma screams, reaches for Susan. Mama! Susan's tears fall. Can't stop. I love you, Emma. Mama loves you so much. Car drives away. Emma's face pressed to window, crying, reaching. Susan collapses. Rebecca catches her. Holland's there. Susan can't speak. Think. Daughter gone. I lost her, Susan whispers. Lost my baby. If you've ever felt the system was rigged, comment below. And please, stay. Susan's fight isn't finished. Video goes viral within an hour. Someone filmed Emma being taken, Emma screaming. Susan's face, broken. Cold efficiency. Posted to social media. Shared. Shared again. 3 hours, 200,000 views. 6 hours, trending nationally. Comments. Heartbreaking. Baby belongs with mother. Victoria Whitmore is a monster. System is broken. Rich people buy children. Evening, protests begin. 20 people outside courthouse with signs. Justice for Susan and Emma. Money can't buy love. Next morning, 300 people. Local news covers. National picks up. Change.org petition. Return Emma Wilson to her mother. 24 hours, 125,000 signatures. Sarah's article, Baby Emma, the granddaughter torn between truth and money. Photos of Susan and Emma. Park, happy, healthy, loving. Photos of Victoria's mansion. 8 bedrooms, security gates, empty. Narrative shifts. Public opinion crystallizes. Susan's phone rings constantly. Supporters. Help offers. GoFundMe starts without permission. 30,000 in 2 days. But Susan can't feel hope. First supervised visit November 12th, 2 days after losing Emma. Victoria's mansion, 10 a.m. Eleanor Walsh, court-appointed supervisor, meets her. 30 minutes, Ms. Wilson. I'll be present. Susan nods. Walks through marble foyer. Enormous house. Cold. No toys, no warmth. Emma's in sitting room, blocks on Persian carpet. Nanny hovers. Emma sees Susan. Face lights. Mama! Runs. Susan catches her. Hi, baby. Hi. Emma clings. Home? Go home? Not today, sweetheart. But soon. Mama's working on it. Floor, blocks. Susan reads book she brought. Emma settles in lap. Eleanor watches. Takes notes. 30 minutes pass quickly. Time's up. Please. 5 more minutes. Can't. Court orders are specific. Susan hugs Emma. I have to go, but I'll be back. Promise. Emma cries. No! Mama, stay! Nanny takes Emma. Susan leaves, hears Emma screaming. Outside, car. Cries 20 minutes. Phone rings. Rebecca. Susan, we got something. Big. What? Paralegal at Wellington and Sterling, working your case. Saw internal emails. Strategy. How to isolate target. Apply financial pressure. Expedite removal. She'll testify. Leak emails. Heart pounds. Why? Conscience. Has daughter. This case made her sick. Risking her job. Doing it anyway. What do they say? I'll send them. But Susan? They're damning. Show Victoria orchestrated everything. Frozen account. Landlord pressure. PI. All documented. Writing. Can we use this? Absolutely. Filing emergency motion. Requesting immediate return based on new evidence of bad faith. Hearings November 18th. 6 days. 6 days, hold on. That night, Susan reads leaked emails. Sterling to Wellington, October 20th. Victoria wants full court press. Make life difficult for Wilson. Freeze assets if possible. Pressure employer. Document missteps. Goal. Force capitulation. Wellington to Sterling, October 22nd. Investigator reports Wilson exemplary mother, no leverage, proceeding with financial pressure. Sterling to Victoria, October 25th. Wilson retained counsel. Rebecca Hayes. Justice equality. Complicates matters. Hayes is competent. Settle before more media. Victoria to Sterling, October 26th. No settlement. I want that child. Do whatever's necessary. Your firm's well compensated. I expect results. Susan stares. Black and white proof. Forwards to Sarah. Tomorrow's headline will finish this. November 18th. Emergency hearing. Same courtroom. Different energy. Judge Marion Fletcher presides. Carson recused after Sarah's article exposed campaign donations. 56. Black woman, former prosecutor. No nonsense. Enters. Everyone stands. Sits. Looks at both sides. Reviewed the motion. Reviewed evidence. Mr. Sterling, Ms. Hayes, approach. Bench conference. Whispered. Heated. Sterling argues. Rebecca counters. Fletcher's face hardens. Waves them back. Before proceeding, I'll address something. Emails submitted by respondent show troubling conduct. I'm ordering ethics investigation into Wellington and Sterling, separately ordering state attorney to review whether Mrs. Whitmore violated laws regarding witness intimidation or obstruction. Victoria's face pales. Now, custody matter. Ms. Hayes, additional evidence? Yes. Daniel Whitmore's original last will and testament. Sterling stands. Objection. We weren't informed. Because your client concealed it, Rebecca snaps. Mr. Holland? Holland approaches, carries metal box. Your Honor, June 5th, 2023, Daniel Whitmore rented safe deposit box 1633 at Bank of Greenwich. I witnessed signature. He placed items and gave me key. Said if anything happened, retrieve contents and deliver to Susan Wilson. Opens box. Removes documents. Last will. Handwritten, dated June 5th, 1 day before death. Witnessed by myself and Grace Turner. Hands will to Fletcher. She reads. Eyebrows rise. Mr. Sterling, did you know this existed? No. Mrs. Whitmore informed us no will existed. Mrs. Whitmore, approach. Victoria stands. Walks forward. Looks smaller, less certain. Fletcher holds will. Did you know your son wrote this? Victoria's voice quiet. I suspected he might, but not what I asked. Did you know this document existed, yes or no? I never saw it. Did Daniel tell you he'd written a will? Silence. You're under oath. He mentioned it, in passing. I didn't think to mention this to court? Your lawyers? When filing for custody when father left explicit instructions? I didn't know contents. Fletcher's voice cuts. Read Section 3, Mr. Holland. Holland reads, I, Daniel James Whitmore III, being of sound mind, declare this my last will. To my wife, Susan Marie Wilson Whitmore, I leave my eternal love and trust. To my daughter, Emma Grace Whitmore, I leave my 30% Whitmore Industries ownership and full trust balance, currently $11.8 million. I appoint Susan Wilson Whitmore as Emma's guardian and sole trustee until age 25. Pauses. Continues. Section 4. If my mother, Victoria Whitmore, contests this will or takes action against Susan or Emma, she forfeits her Whitmore Industries role and all inheritance from my grandfather's estate reverts to Emma. Courtroom erupts. Fletcher bangs gavel. Order! Sterling looks at Victoria. Victoria stares at floor. So let me understand. You filed for custody knowing your son was married, knowing he had a child, knowing he'd left instructions, and transferred his shares to yourself 2 weeks after death without disclosing any of this. Victoria doesn't answer. This changes everything. This is Daniel's final statement about his wishes, family, his daughter's care. Sets will down. Mrs. Whitmore, custody petition denied. Emma Wilson returned to mother immediately. You'll have supervised visitation pending fraud investigation. Additionally, referring this to probate court for estate transfer review. Ms. Wilson, as Daniel's legal widow and Emma's mother, you're entitled to contest that transfer. Your Honor, Sterling begins. Mr. Sterling, suggest you and your client consult criminal counsel separately. Adjourned. Gavel falls. Susan can't move. Process. Rebecca hugs her. You won. Susan, you won. Holland's smiling. Sarah's taking notes. Victoria stands. Doesn't look at anyone. Walks out. Sterling follows, phone already out. Emma will be back tonight. They have to release immediately. Susan's legs give out. Rebecca catches. It's over. It's over. 3 days later, Victoria sits in state attorney's office conference room. Grand jury investigation into potential fraud and obstruction. New attorney, not Sterling who withdrew, beside her. Court reporter, Assistant Attorney General Catherine Morrison leads. Mrs. Whitmore, when did you first learn about Susan Wilson? October 15th, 2024, cemetery. Before that, knew your son was in relationship? I suspected. Did you investigate? Made inquiries. Through private investigator? Yes. When you received report, it confirmed Emma was your son's child. Correct? Resemblance was clear. But you filed for custody claiming Emma needed protection, not acknowledging she was your granddaughter. Emma is my granddaughter. That's why I wanted to protect her. Morrison places documents. Estate transfer papers. You transferred Daniel's shares to yourself June 20th, 2023, 2 weeks after death. Why so quickly? Business continuity. Board needed clarity. Did you search for a will? Victoria hesitates. Checked his apartment. Checked with his bank? His lawyer? No. Why not? Assumed if there was will, it'd be with family attorneys. But Daniel hadn't used your attorneys for years. You knew that. I didn't think. I'm going to play Daniel's video. Screen flickers. Daniel's face. Voice fills room. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Susan Wilson is my wife. Emma's my daughter. I know what you'll try. Don't. They deserve better than this family's secrets. Victoria's jaw tightens, doesn't look at screen. You did this before. To Carmen. Paid her to disappear. Kill my child. I was 16. Couldn't stop you. But I'm not 16 anymore. If you come for Susan and Emma, you'll lose everything. The will makes sure. Video ends. He knew. He knew you'd try this. Victoria's voice cracks slightly. My son misunderstood. Did you enter his hospital room alone June 6th at 3:42 a.m.? Yes. Speak with Dr. Patterson? Yes. What did you discuss? Daniel's prognosis. Chances. Did you request DNR order? Long silence. Answer the question. Doctor said Daniel wouldn't recover. I was making end-of-life decisions. Daniel's medical directive stated, full resuscitation. Did you know that? I did what I thought was best. Best for whom? Daniel or yourself? Victoria's lawyer intervenes. My client answered your questions. Unless you're charging her, we're done. Morrison leans back. We're considering several charges. Fraud related to estate transfer, obstruction for failing to disclose will, possibly more depending on hospital investigation. Prepare for prosecution. Victoria stands, walks out. No comment to waiting reporters. That evening, emergency board meeting at Whitmore Industries. She announces resignation. Effective immediately. Personal and family matters require full attention. Voice steady, but hands shake. Board accepts. 14-0. Victoria Whitmore built empire over 40 years. Takes 3 hours to lose it. Returns to empty mansion. Sits in study. Looks at photos of Daniel as child. Whispers, I was protecting you. But Daniel's not there to answer. And the empire she built to preserve his legacy crumbles because she tried to control it one last time. November 23rd, 8 p.m. Susan unlocks apartment door. Emma runs in. Home. Home, Mama. Yes, baby. We're home. Emma's been back 5 days. Court-ordered return. Victoria's visitation reduced to once monthly, supervised. Apartment feels smaller than Susan remembered, but warmer, full. Emma plays with blocks. Susan makes dinner, pasta, butter, Emma's favorite, floor picnic. Emma chatters about daycare, friends, park. Normal. Finally normal. Phone buzzes. News alert. Victoria Whitmore faces criminal investigation for estate fraud. Whitmore Industries Board names interim CEO. Susan turns off phone. Holland called earlier. Probate hearings in January. Susan will likely regain control of Daniel's estate on Emma's behalf. Millions. Security. Future. But tonight, that doesn't matter. Tonight, Emma's back. That's enough. Later, after Emma's asleep, Susan stands by window. City lights. Thinks about Daniel. Video. Will. Marriage certificate. He protected them from beyond grave. Thank you, she whispers. Some secrets refuse to stay buried, even with the dead. Daniel's secret wasn't shame. It was love. And love, it turns out, is louder than money, stronger than power, more permanent than empires. Emma will grow up knowing her father fought for her before she could speak, knowing her mother fought harder. Victoria Whitmore still has her mansion. Susan Wilson, has her daughter. Only one of them won. Truth survives those who try to bury it. Justice doesn't always come easy, but it comes. If this story moved you, share it. Subscribe for more stories where truth triumphs. Comment below, do you believe the justice system protects everyone equally? Susan and Emma's story isn't over, but tonight, they're free, and that's everything.